Oh my goodness. I probably look like a mess. Give me 2 seconds to get the stream pulled up on my end. Jesus. Literally just got home and ran in here. This is going to be the last Monday stream because I have to close at work all the time and this is just too much. Oh, come on. Let me sign in. No, I didn't bring my phone in here with me. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Just wanted to get the chat pulled up on a different area. I wonder if I could just tune in live. It won't be a view that counts because I'm not signed in, but we'll work on that later. Okay, just so I can see the chat also here. Okay. Goodness. Okay. Okay. It's a good thing probably not a lot of people are here yet because, yeah, this was chaotic intro. Jeez. Okay. I can breathe for a second. And no more Monday streams. So they'll only be on Fridays now, I think. We're going to start closing later at work too, so I can barely make it now. And I got poured on because, of course, it started pouring rain right as we were leaving work. So forgot this was open. You started talking and scared the hell out of me. Sorry, Shauna. Okay, just breathing for a second. Like ran in the house and got everything set up. Oh, and I see you can see my reflector. That's nice. I don't think it matters all that much, but there we go. Okay. Hi, welcome to Creepy Book Club. Okay. We'll work out all the kinks of this later. I did not give myself time for this, but welcome. Okay, y'all know the drill. I don't think I updated the gore board before this stream. Is it even loaded in here? No, so I guess it doesn't matter. But I will jot down whoever wins this game, which will to do a warm up. Let me just get the notepad open so I can write down who wins. Okay, cool. Alrighty. So for everyone here right now, we'll play a little warm-up game as we do. Sorry if you hear any noises in the background. So this is like kind of a similar game to one we've played before with movies. So what I did for 3 different hopefully well-known horror books, I found funny 1-star reviews on Goodreads and I'm going to show them to you and read them to you. And then hopefully you guys can guess what the book is. If that sounds cool with you guys. Okay, hold on. I'm just going to drink of water here. Okay. Whew. What a chaotic start. Okay. Alrighty. Game time. As everybody pops in here. Where's my game? Okay. So here is the first one. Obviously, there's no identifiers, hopefully, of the books in here, but here you go. All right. So this is a 1-star rating for a book. Custodial staff of 1%er resort commits grave breaches of employment agreement, including fraternization, by failing to keep grounds free and clear of supernatural deterioration. Name that book. These are what I feel like are very well-known horror books. So that's your clue for all 3 of these. That they're pretty well known. Is it recent? No. So I guess that's the second clue. This one is less of a review and more of just like a funny way to describe technically accurately what happens in the book. It's the show on Hulu. I don't think there's a show for it. Think about the weird way it's describing this. Custodial staff of 1%er resort. Oh, Jacques, you got it. You're right. It's The Shining. I just thought that review was really funny. You write down Jacques, 1 point. Nicely done, Jacques. I didn't know if that one would be difficult or easy. I think the next one is technically probably the easiest one out of the bunch, but I figured this one was technically describing the book. I think the next one's a little bit easier, though. I did have to cross out an identifying name, so you'll see a little red blotch there. But here is the next one. Just answer as soon as you know it. I'll just read it to kill time. This may be my new go-to example of how a story/story idea can be good or even great, but the actual execution of that idea as a book is utterly horrible. The characterizations are abysmal. The dialogue is cringeworthy. The similes and metaphors should have gotten a see me after class in high school English. This was just brutal. With an excellent movie out there, hint, there's no reason to read this. In fact, read the script for the movie as it is far better, which is bizarre as somebody wrote both the novel and the screenplay, which is another hint. I don't know if this one is going to be easier or harder. This is also another well-known horror book. Not recent, I guess, in case somebody's going to ask. It definitely has a movie. And the author also wrote the screenplay. Firestarter. No, not Firestarter. I only put one Stephen King book in here, so you don't have to worry about that. I don't know if it's like a pretty well-known thing that, I don't know. I didn't like the book as much as the movie. Okay, I guess I have to give another. The only one I can think of is Twilight. Definitely not. Did she write the screenplay for that too? I wasn't aware. Let's see, a hint. A lot of people in the horror community say that the movie adaptation of this is one of the scariest movies of all time. I don't personally agree with that. I don't think it's that scary of a movie, but every time this movie gets brought up, it's like, oh, this is the scariest movie ever. I don't know if that helps. I didn't think, Hell House. No, not Hell House. I don't want to say if that's, no, it's not really super close. I didn't think this one was going to be as tricky. I wonder if I should add in, I give myself points if I stump you guys. Silence of the Lambs. No, not Silence of the Lambs. Only movie that scared me is Event Horizon, but it also has to have a book, Shauna. Okay, I think this one is a wash, but this was a 1-star review for The Exorcist. That's the only one I can think of where the author also wrote the screenplay besides Stephen King, but It was The Exorcist. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know if this one's going to be any easier. It's a lot shorter though, so it's a lot shorter of a review. I'll have to add in the gore board. I'll give myself a point if I stump you guys on whatever it is. No shame in the game, but alrighty, last one, a lot shorter of a 1-star review. I thought this would be more interesting or more sexy or more fun or more gay. Oh, I love how I can see the actual delay too on this. Be surprised how many authors write the screenplay adaptation of their own books. Huh. I guess so. Manhunt, no. Maybe a hint I should have given at the beginning of this is these are all slightly older books. So none of these were very recent. I didn't know if that would make it more difficult if I picked recent ones. So I picked like older, like tried and true ones. Think about sexy. What's a sexy horror thing? Oh, Shauna, nicely done. Nicely done. Interview with a Vampire. It was the more gay that got me. I've never read the book, but I know that's I don't know if it's like a complaint, I guess, that people thought it was going to be more gay. Nicely done, Shauna. Interview with the Vampire. Okay, so that's a difficult game. That's why I like to try out different little games to see what is an easy game and maybe what's a not so easy game. No harm, no foul though. Okay, let me put my little thingamajigger back up there. Alrighty. Okay. Well, Jacques and Shauna, looks like it's mostly just you guys in the chat. Did either of you read the Fervor for this past month? Do we have any readers of the Fervor, or are we all just lurking until the game was over? So we can chit chat about this one. If not, I guess it's maybe a good thing I'm going to do away with the Monday night streams after this because, yeah, I know it's a weeknight, but it also is a holiday. Well, I didn't know if that would affect it. Of course not. Forgot to pick it up on my last. Well, that's okay. I guess we can just chit-chat, you guys. Did you guys read anything else this month that you were excited about? They want to talk about? Oh no, my pages got bent. Oh, sorry. I just realized the pages got. I have to put something heavy on top of it to flatten it out. I was so excited about this one because I got an arc for it and I read it all ahead of time. Just got Hacienda from the library. My reading game is so sad lately. It's all good. I got the Hacienda too. Mariel's not even here to hear me say it right either. I'm excited about this one. This one sounds really good. I grabbed the audiobook also because I just love audiobooks. And then I can get hopefully good pronunciation on stuff for the live. Coraline and Howl's Moving Castle. I haven't read either of those. I put Coraline on my TBR for June, so we'll see if I get to it. It's quite short because it's just a young reader book, so we'll see. I read The Last House on Needless Street. It's so good. It was so good. I almost want to make that like a book club pick, just so like more people have to read it, and then I can talk about it. It's a difficult book to talk about because, yeah, it's like you have to talk about it with people who have read it. Otherwise, mad spoilers. Mad spoilers. But so good. I want to read that author's other book too. I have Sundial, which I think is by the same author. I don't know if that's their only other book, but I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm very tempted to make it a book club choice, though, just so more people have to read it and then have to talk about it with me. There's a book club picks for books and Lala. Oh, yeah? Nice. Well, then maybe a lot of people will have read it and then they'll. Also read Love from the Other Side, which is an anthology manga. I've only, I guess like maybe Junji Ito, some of his stuff might count as like anthology manga, but the only other ones I've read that were anthologies, like I wasn't super jazzed about because I felt like the stories were just so short. Like I felt like, I don't know, like it was like the beginning of a story and it's like nothing really happened and then it was over before it felt like it really even started. So I was kind of disappointed. I guess some of Junji Ito's may count as anthologies maybe. Read Stephen King's Later and Meh. Oh, that's like those, that's one of his what is it? What's it called? Hard case mystery, cold case mystery, something like that. The ones that are only ever released in paperback. There's like that one, The Colorado Kid, and something else. Joyland? It had two that were slightly triggering stories. Ugh, yikes. I'm sorry. Hate when that happens and you don't know what's coming. Oh, excuse me. I love when people come in for those. I gotta figure out what those are called. Hard case mysteries, cold case, something like that. Because they'll like fight with me about them wanting the hardcover version of it. And I'm like, no, those ones don't come in hardcover. Like something about like he specifically releases those ones in paperback only ever because it's like more accessible because it's cheaper than a hardcover. I don't know why it's just with those books. But customers like to argue with me all the time about it. I'm like, I promise there's no hardcover. There's no hardcover for it. I did enjoy the Fervor. I really like the Fervor. I've read 2 other books by Alma Katsu. I don't think all of her books fall under like this like historical horror kind of subgenre that I don't want to say she's created, but I feel like it's the only author I think of when I think of like historical horror. And they're good. There's The Hunger, which is like there's always some sort of like supernatural twist going on for the Donner Party, which is already a terrifying story. And then there's The Deep, which is the Titanic. Again, also just a horrifying story. So this one is more, it's more like the setting, really. It doesn't necessarily have much to do with like World War II or anything like that. It just happens to be taking place in World War II in the United States. And there's a couple of different POVs. So there's some Japanese characters. I don't know if that thunder is picking up. Holy shit, sorry. That scared me. There's Japanese characters, Japanese American characters, white American characters, and a couple of different POVs. But basically what's happening is there is a like a virus, I guess, sort of, that's running rampant through the internment camps and through the United States. And there's sort of like a like testing on people sort of theme. And it all is kind of linked to Japanese folklore. Hold on, I have it written down. I'm going to mispronounce it though. Ignore the question part, but it's that word Jorogumo. I probably said that wrong. Which is a like a spider demon. I think they're called like yokai, which are like, I think, a form of ghost. But it's like a spider demon that can take the form of like a beautiful woman in a kimono, which is seen sometimes in the book. But super creepy. I feel like those like kind of took a backseat to a lot of stuff though. Like the real villain in this book was racism. Having a folklore. I like that was like part that I was gonna read it anyway, but it drew me into because I love folklore aspects to it. I like that it was kind of subtle though, that it wasn't like there wasn't like a full on. I don't know if this is a spoiler, but there wasn't like a full on battle with a giant spider demon at the end. It was more subtle. It was more subtext, a little bit. It's not there. It's hard to describe. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to click on that one. Hey, Mariel. Did you read the Fervor? I'm just describing it to everybody. I'm just describing it to everyone here. But I liked it. It was like kind of deeply unsettling because it very much mirrored obviously stuff that goes on in the United States literally all the time. I wouldn't even say like just right now because it's literally all the time. Even though it's set in World War II. So it's like one of those like, this has always been the bad place. Glad I didn't read it. I don't want nothing to do with spiders. I was worried about that too because I'm terrified of spiders, but it wasn't like Spider City where it's like the spiders are the main villain and there's like all these horrific scenes of like spiders just being creepy. I think we did read one book like that way in the early stages of Creepy Book Club. Like it was one of the first books we read and it was called The Hatching and it was literally like a spider apocalypse. I was terrified the entire time. I think it's a trilogy and I was like, there's no way I'm reading the other books. There's no way. Yeah, the spiders weren't like in the forefront. It was more like the spider demon was like infecting everybody and making them even more awful and racist and anti-Semitic and misogynistic. And yeah, that's what was going on. I could never, it was, that book was, We have it at work too, and every time I see it in the horror section, I just shudder because I'm like, ooh. Yeah, spider apocalypse, worst thing ever. Worst thing ever. Hey, Colleen. Now as everyone like pops in here, I'm just gonna ask, like, did you read the Fervor? It's okay that don't want anyone to like feel bad, but just in case like somebody popped in and they're just a little bit late, which was fine because I started a little bit late too because Monday nights are no good anymore. These are going to be on Fridays. So sorry about that. If you did read it though, Colleen, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And then we can talk about, well, we did kind of mention the next read a little bit. And I have a few things that I read this month. And then I thought I would go through that Google form that I put out with the survey. And just talk about next stuff with the Creepy Book Club. So it's a little bit of a different, it's not a fail. It's not a fail. It's okay. I just want to make sure I'm not like moving on and then somebody pops in the chat and I was like, but wait. That's all. I just want to make sure. But because Marielle and Colleen just popped in here also, if you guys want to share what you guys have been reading this month also. Shauna and Jacques were both talking a little bit about the stuff they read this month. Anything else you read that was interesting? I didn't get a whole lot of reading done either. I did finish Way of the Kings. I know I mentioned this last month because I was very close to being done. I was like, that far away in a 1,300 page book, but I did finish it. And now there's like 3 more to go that are all like the same size as this one. What did I get myself into? I also did read all of the Tomie collection also, which was, it was just like Uzumaki. It was like fantastic because it was like just fucking off the rails and just really fucking weird and sometimes really disgusting and gross, and it was really cool. So I would highly recommend this one. The short story, The Human Chair. That sounds terrifying. Read Carmilla. I really have to buy that from work. I really do. And now I'm reading The Hacienda. I did say it right and you were not here. Hopefully Jacques and Shauna will back me up on that. I mentioned it earlier. And I specifically was lamenting the fact that you were not in the chat at that time. I also mentioned that I got the audiobook for it, and I'm really hoping whoever the narrator is really pulls through with the pronunciations. So I can all the other, any other words that are in here and names and stuff like that, I can make sure I pronounce it beautifully. We'll see though, because I've heard from authors sometimes they're not consulted on how names are supposed to be said and things like that. So, but I'm hoping the audiobook is good for this also. That's what I'm hoping anyway. Short story collection by Kim Fu. Lesser known mothers of the 21st century. Also, yes, please read Camilla. I thought the gayness would be subtext, but no, I feel like it's pretty there. Are you reading a specific edition? There's one that we have at work that I think is edited, but I think it's more of a credit than editing it, by Carmen Maria Machado. I'm trying to pull it up here. Or if she kind of it says editor, but I feel like I saw reviews where it's she made it more easy to read or something. I don't really know. That's the one I have at work, and I want to get that one too because I read Her Body and Other Parties, and that was fantastic. Monsters, not mothers. Oh, I'm sorry. It was a long day at work today, Colleen. I apologize. My brain was yeah, no. Lesser known monsters of the 21st century. That sounds even more awesome. Mother monster like Lady Gaga. I think there's a movie on Amazon called Carmilla that may be a sequel to the book. I feel like there's a couple of adaptations of that. I did I may have watched one that was legitimately called Carmilla. Then there's the Carmilla movie, which was I think a web series, and then they made a movie from it also that I cannot find anywhere. Just, oh my God, it's on Tubi. Sorry. I can never find this fucking movie anywhere. I might have to stay up late and watch that. Hopefully I don't have to watch the web series to watch it because I can never find that movie. Holy shit. Maybe for Pride Month. Yes. I heard that the good adaptation is Carmilla from 2019. Is that the one I watched? Sorry, I got distracted by the fact that I can watch this movie. It better hold up. I've heard it's very cute. Oh, was it a short? Oh, wait, I think that's the one I watched. Hold on, let me pull up the poster. That is the one I watched. Yeah, I thought it was good. It was kind of, I don't know how the book is, but the movie was very, I don't want to say like subtle in like the vampirism, but it wasn't like, you didn't full on see any like fangs or anybody biting anybody's neck, really. It felt more like a metaphor maybe or something like that, but I did watch that one. It was good. Carmilla the web series is a different beat. Oh, I'm sure it's a lot different. I think it's supposed to be like a modern take on it, but I could never find the movie that was like related to the web series anywhere, and maybe they put it on streaming services for Pride Month or something. I also read an arc for a book. It's out now. It came out, I think, on like the 17th. Oh God, sorry, the lighting. Just Like Mother. There we go. Can kind of see it that way. Which was wild to read as the SCOTUS bullshit was happening. So it's definitely an interesting read if you have like no interest whatsoever in having children, or you just like really don't like children. It's wild. Also like cult vibes, which I just really have like a hankering for right now. I know that sounds weird. We really need more movies about sapphic vampires made by and for sapphics. Agree. Agree. Yeah, there's a lot that are made by straight white men, which is always fun. But the Carmilla 2019 was directed by a woman, I think. Emily Harris. So that's something at least. Maybe that's why it's a better one. Oh, there's their website. And some other movies. Nice. Maybe that's why that's the good adaptation. Children, no thank you. Yeah, that Just Like Mother was an interesting read as somebody who I'm just like, I don't even really like kids. They're just like, I'm like, okay. Don't know if that's weird. Probably. People seem to get more offended when I'm like, I don't like children. Not like I don't want them, but I'm like, I don't like them. People get a little more offended at that. And I'm sorry, Horror Cash. Thank you for the nightmare fuel. I'm sorry. I was going on a tangent. So sorry about that. It's like, so the book is like, it's like a motherhood cult. If that, like, that's probably the best way to describe it. It's literally like a cult of women who think that, like, you're like, if you're a uterus owner, your highest purpose in life is having children, which I know, right? The main character does not want children. So that's, and was part of this cult growing up. And like at the beginning of the book, they're saved from the cult. And then it's years and years later when they're grown up. And then two of these characters meet again. And yeah, so the main character does not want kids, not interested in kids. But then it turns out like this cult never really died, and it's it's back, and it's all about being moms, and it's like terrifying. It's really terrifying. It was really well written though. I really liked it. A motherhood cult sounds terrifying. It is. It was really creepy. And then like when I was about halfway through this, the like that SCOTUS thing came out about Roe v. Wade, so that like just gave it a whole new meaning as I was reading it, in a really interesting and terrifying way. Hold on, let me get rid of this little banner. Okay, so the Hacienda is our June read. We haven't really decided any picks for the last half of the year. Let me pull up the little form though that I put out about the creepy book club, and see, I can share my screen too so you guys can see it. Ba-ba-ba. Honestly, it sounds like most Christians. They have to read the sundial so we can know if it has a bunch of children. I think there is a younger main character. It's like something about going back to where she grew up or something like that. Let me share screen window. Just go away. Oh, Chrome tab. That's what I want. This. Share. Okay. Cool. And let me make sure I can see the chat so I can see you guys talking. Okay, cool. Cool. Alrighty. So I thought we could just go over this really quick too. Not, I mean, a lot to go over, but I thought I would just ask some like housekeeping questions because the Goodreads group is kind of dead. I am not using Goodreads anymore, so that was partially my fault as well. So I was like trying to think. I was like, oh, maybe I can think of a different way to like get out the information. So I was thinking like trying to figure out ways to do like maybe like an email newsletter or something like that. And I was like, instead of me just like go ahead and like trying to make this thing that potentially maybe nobody's interested in using, why don't I just ask? And then it led to like me doing a whole bunch of other questions. But if you guys didn't get a chance to answer this and you just want to let me know some of your answers in the chat, that's okay too. Which I'm glad I asked this question. The very first one, like, how would you like to receive notifications? Because the majority of people said social media. So I was like, perfect. I don't have to do any extra work besides just posting about the picks more on my social media. That's all. Easy peasy. This is why we ask questions first instead of just making more work for myself. Also asked you guys about guests. A few people had some ideas. Some people just said horror booktubers, which is a good answer, but I'm like, but who? I don't know how I would want to go about having guests either. Like if I just want to go ahead and pick like our reads and we have our reads for the rest of the year like we normally do, and then just see if anybody wants to guest with me for any of those, or if I have like the guest pick the book that we're going to read for that month that they're going to be on the live stream with, if that makes sense. I don't really know how I want to approach that. Because that seems weird too, to like approach people and be like, hey, do you want to be on this live stream? And you also have to pick a book that all of us are going to read and talk about and potentially hate. And so I don't know the best way to go about that, but I think it'd be fun to have guests occasionally also. And everybody seemed like that would be fun. So I'll start thinking about that. Also, I'm glad I asked some of these questions too, because I was asking like if there's anything that that like I could do differently, or things that like maybe I should know about, like feedback. And there was a lot of feedback about making sure the books, not making sure, but like trying to check and see if the books that we're talking about are released in other countries at the same time, because I know movies are like that, but for whatever reason, I just like my brain did not think that like books might have different release dates also. So glad I asked, because I wasn't even thinking about that. It doesn't really matter if we pick backlist titles though. It's just the newer releases. So I just have to pay more attention to that. And I'm glad it was brought to my attention, because my brain clearly was just not thinking about it. I think it would be fun to have Sarah Hawkinson and Emma at the same time. I know, I saw somebody mention Emma. I'm like, I do a live stream with her every month. Not that I don't think it would be fun to have Emma on, but I do a live stream with her every month. Well, I guess not this past month because Emma was away, but but I know, yeah, I know Sarah, Possessed by Horror, reads a lot too. So yeah, once I figure out how I kind of want to have the guests on, I'll then start maybe like emailing people and see what happens. So we'll see. We'll see. If anyone has any suggestions, like should I have them pick the book? Should we just pick the books and then see if they want a guest for any of them? I don't really know the best way to do that. But yeah. Oh, I didn't even see this one. I generally can only make them in the summer because I teach during the year. So I wish I could make more. Hopefully, I'm going to start doing these on Fridays, or making sure they're always on Fridays instead of on Mondays. So hopefully that'll help. Because it's just not going to work with my work schedule anymore too, to do live streams on Mondays and then rush here at the end of the night. Ugh. Nah. Yeah, a lot of the feedback would be good to make sure books are chosen or released outside of the US. Yeah, I can't believe I didn't think of that. I'm glad I asked though, because then people brought it up, or new books, I guess, because yeah, they're hard to get at the library. So make sure I have a good, healthy mixture of backlist and new released for sure. Maybe pick a guest and ask if they want to pick a book. Yeah, that's true. That would just make it difficult, I guess. I guess I should have asked, like, in this survey, I guess if any of you want to give some feedback live. Because the only problem I see with that is the way we've been doing Creepy Book Club is I plan out the books in 6-month increments. Like, so last December, we scheduled and picked all of the books for January until June. And so if I keep doing it the same way, I'll pick all the books for July through December based on like what you guys suggested to me. So if I I don't want to publicize that and say this is what we're going to read for the rest of the year, and then change it if a guest wants to pick another book, if that makes sense. Because like if they want to pick a book, then I would have to change the book for that month. And then I've already announced it. So it's like, maybe should I change that and not plan the books that far in advance? Or just have the list for myself and then just announce them one by one. I don't know if that helps. Make it a mystery pick. People love a mystery. That's true, I guess. And then if I can try and get a guest for that month. Huh. See, it's weird. It's weird to try and figure out what the best way to do that is. For anyone in the chat, do you like them being planned out that far in advance? Because if that's something like we don't want to do, then that would solve that question. I could then have maybe like a list for myself, and I can ask guests if they want to do any of those books. It's great because we can prepare with a lot of anticipation. Okay. Enough in advance. You could probably do it. Okay. Okay. It's tricky. It's tricky to do with guests, with a guest that isn't like regular, because of like, like, does this offend you? Where it's always Emma and I. But if I had other guests on, it would be different. Like, it wouldn't be the same person every time. So, okay. All right. Okay. Okay. I'll have a think on it, because could go either way, like knowing it at least 2 months in advance. Yeah. That's what I was thinking too, because that would kind of like solve that. And as long as the book is widely available, yeah. I'm a slow reader, so I need to know a lot of anticipation. Yeah, that's why I plan them so far in advance. So, you have a lot of time to get the book ahead of time if you want to, and start reading, if you happen to finish one book quickly and you want to start on the next one, or if you can't read a book a certain month because it's just a busy month and you want to jump ahead. Okay. I have to think about that, how to do that with guests, especially if they want to pick a book themselves. So, and new releases too, like, because I was trying to work in some more new releases. I could just not schedule them so close to the release date, because there were some these past couple of months that I was like, they came out like end of April and we did it for our May book or something like that. So maybe I can do new releases, but just not as close to the release date, so people have time to get them, and I can double check on the international release dates also. Having the list ahead of time, mostly because I'm scheduling for myself. Some picks I read out of order based on my interests. That's true too. That's true also. Okay. Yeah. See, I'm glad I put out this little survey, because it helps me get an idea. I'm terrible at planning my reading. I almost guarantee I'll be reading Hacienda in 18 days because it's due. Hey, you know what? That's a good motivator. If you get it from the library, you have a due date. So, what about a book you've featured on your book pick lists? And same for your guest. Both of you and Sarah H mentioned loving Last House on Needless Street. Yeah, that's true. I don't think you were here for that part of the stream, Colleen, but I did mention that I was very tempted to make the Last House on Needless Street a pick for the latter half of the year, because I just want to talk about it so badly. So maybe I will, and maybe I'll reach out and see if Sarah wants to guest and gush about it, because oh my god, did I love that book. And I think a lot of people have read it. It might be a good one to maybe kick off like August or July or August with, if a lot of people have already read it. Actually, you just mentioned wanting to make that a book club pick. Yep. Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll try and make it like an early, like a July or August or something. I actually have to see. I think the paperback comes out soon too. Let me just double check really quick. I don't want it to be too difficult to get, because it's hard for me to order in at work even right now, because the paperback is coming out soon. So the hardcovers, it's like they're probably not printing any more hardcovers. Oh, I love the cover for the paperback. Oh no, I might have to buy this book twice. Oh no. It looks kind of retro, the paperback cover. Can you just give me a fucking release date, please? It's not helpful. I think it's July. I'll have to check at work and I'll try and base it off of that. So at least maybe it'll be a little bit easier to get once it's out in paperback. Also, I'll double check on that and I'll try and make it an early pick. So, okay. August is my birthday month. Do it. I'm late to the game. It's all good. It's okay to double dip. I do movies. Oh, I'm going to. The paperback cover is gorgeous in its own way. And it's vastly different from the hardcover. I love when books do that. Sometimes it's annoying when one is prettier. It's September 13th. It's that late? Damn. I thought it was July. I'll have to double check at work too. Maybe I read it wrong. Damn it. So long. That's so far. Like thinking, like, do I want to make it an October one? Because I just don't know if it'll be difficult to get for people if the hardcover is starting to go out, because they kind of do that once it's getting close to time for the paperback to come out. They just will stop printing the hardcover. I'm trying not to hype up Last House on Needless Street too much so I can enjoy it. Okay. At least on Amazon. Okay. I couldn't find a release date on Amazon. I went in there and it was not being helpful to me. Let me go on Barnes & Noble. Let me go on my work website. Paperback. When does the paperback come out, Barnes & Noble? Oh, damn it. You're right. September 13th. Fuck. Okay. I mean, it doesn't say the hardcover is it's temporarily out of stock online. Motherfucker. Okay. All right. I'll have a think about that one. I don't know if it'll be better for me to wait for the paperback to come out or what, but I definitely want to do that one. I will happily reread it again. Okay. I'll have to think about that one. All right. The next little sections, I just asked for some book recommendations, like some new ones and some like backlist titles that have been on people's PBRs, TBRs. There's some of the interesting ones on here. I mean, Clown in a Cornfield too, which we did read Clown in a Cornfield, the first one for Creepy Book Club, but I don't want to unintentionally make people feel like they have to read both books. I don't know how much you're going to need to know from the first one for that second one. I'm probably going to read it regardless. The author for A Clown in a Cornfield, Adam Caesar, is doing a promotion too. If you pre-order the sequel and like you email him proof of like your confirmation that you pre-ordered it, he's like sending out signed book plates. And I was like, I need it. And I immediately did it. Just Like Home by Sarah Gailey. Some of these I haven't heard of, so I'm gonna have to look up some of these new ones. Such Sharp Teeth by Rachel Harrison. I really want to read, so that one might be. And I feel like Pinata, I saw that at some point, and I think I put it on I had like a rough list for the last half of the year. Like back in December, I was looking up new horror books for 2022, and that one was so far out. I was like, let me just write it down. Oh yeah, because the cover looks fucking amazing. The cover, I love the cover. Oh no, they pushed it back. Oh, never mind. February 7th, 2023. All right, well, never mind then. That's unfortunate. I was excited about that one. Hide by Kirsten White has also been really popular. That one's already out. That one's been really popular at work, and the book looks awesome. So I might have to pick that one also. Found in a Cornfield sounds like a good double feature. I really liked the first one. The one that includes Pinata is mine. Yeah, they must have pushed it back because when I looked that book up at the end of last year, it definitely said 2022. And now it's saying February 7th, 2023, which is a shame. It means we'll just have to wait a little bit longer to read it. It looks really good, though. And such sharp teeth. That one sounds really good also. I read Cackle by Rachel Harrison, and I thought that was really fun. It was very creepy and fun at the same time, and I loved the energy, so I really want to read that one too. Should do a top 10 horror book covers. I will definitely do that. There's also somebody mentioned nonfiction in here, and I'm mad I didn't really ask in the survey at all if we'd be interested in reading horror nonfiction. I didn't know, because that could encompass a lot of things. It could be something like this person mentioned, Nightmare Fuel, The Science of Horror Films, which talks about horror movies specifically, or true crime, I guess technically might fall under horror nonfiction. It could be anything. I don't know if anybody would be interested in that. I trust your picks 100%. I like to have other people's opinions, though, too, about it. It's not just me. There's a lot of good ones in here, too. Some of these, again, I haven't heard of, so I'm going to have to look them up. Because I definitely want to make sure we're reading not all cishet white male authors. I'd like it to be maybe one a year. Bad Astronauts by Grady Hendrix. I was so confused by that release because the what's it called? How to Sell a Haunted House is the one that got pushed back of his. And then I saw stuff about Bad Astronaut, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? A random ass book you're publishing in the middle of nowhere when we're all waiting for this other one. No pressure. That is a lot of pressure. I'm definitely, what is Patricia Wants to Cuddle? I don't want to make this a live stream where I'm Googling everything, but that's what's happening. Sorry, I just have to look up that. What the fuck is that? Patricia Wants to Cuddle. Expected June 28th. This looks weird. Can I just get a summary? A summary that doesn't sound bizarre. What the fuck is this? Okay, I'm going to look into that one. The title instantly drew me in, though. Something about a reality TV show. I'll have to look at that later. Interesting. And anthologies. People mentioned anthologies in here. And I don't know that we've read an anthology before for Creepy Book Club. And I don't know if that would be interesting to you guys also. There's a couple of ones mentioned in here that are interesting. And there's one that's coming out, I think the end of July, called Other Terrors. And I think it's specifically marginalized voices. Or voices from marginalized groups, I should say. Other Terrors book. Yeah, Other Terrors, an inclusive anthology. Comes out July, in the middle of July. Yeah. Showcases authors from underrepresented backgrounds telling terrifying tales. Which I love an anthology, but I don't know if that would be interesting. It'd be a lot to talk about, that's for sure. Never read a horror anthology. I love horror anthologies. Okay, we may have to add one in. I don't know if it'll be that one specifically, but or one of these ones that somebody mentioned in here, but it's bite-sized horror. So much fun. And these are just suggestions, I guess, from Backlist, which are some of these I've really wanted to do for a book club pick too, like White is for Witching by Helen Oyeyemi. I read one Caitlin R. Kiernan book and I was not super jazzed about it. It wasn't this one though, but give me recommendations. I can make a whole video on it. I have a whole overflowing shelf in my big collection of books that is just dedicated to horror anthologies. I buy them like they're going out of style. Dark Harvest was one I wanted to read too. I think I hope the movie is still happening. It's very Halloween-y. Like the cover looks like Jack the Pumpkin King is on it, like a scarecrow with a big old pumpkin head. But that one's kind of short. So Slasher Boys and Slasher Girls and Monster Boys. That was a good one. That was a good one. Yeah, so there's some good backlist ones in here too. And then I asked about YA and stuff, which most of you guys don't care if you read. Looks like maybe one or two people were not interested at all, but I like occasionally reading YA horror. I think it's fun. If you're into weird books, then Her Body and Other Parties, definitely weird, but I thought it was fantastic. That's the one by Carmen Maria Machado. It's so good. It gets a little bit weird, but I think it's fantastic. Middle grade, nobody seemed to be interested in, which is fine. Excuse me. I just thought I would throw that out there. And then just other stuff. I did ask about 2 books per month because there are some that people mentioned that are quite short. So I didn't know if that would be something maybe we want to like read too, which seems like most of you guys were like, yeah, if it was just every so often and they were shorter books, which makes sense to me. So that might be interesting if I could find like 2 like kind of complementary books maybe, or they have like similar themes, but they take them like completely different directions. That might be fun to do occasionally. Please do a video about them. I will. Fragments of Horror by Junji Ito. That's another good one too, especially if you want to get into like his body of work, which is kind of crazy. And then just stuff to see more of, which I'm glad pretty much everyone was like, yes, all of these different representations again, which is like what I want to make the book club anyway. Like I want that to be like the point of the book club, is that we're reading from underrepresented groups. A Does This Offend You book edition. I mean, I feel like we have read some, I'm sure we've read books that were a little bit challenging. I think most of the ones that we read like can be, it's like the horror genre where it's, I mean, there's always like darker topics we're covering. So I feel like any of them could be a Does This Offend You episode. And we're good at reaching too. So yeah, I just thought I would go over that little survey I did just to so you guys know where I'm at with that. And yeah, so I guess I have a lot to think about. So happy with all the Spanish in the Hacienda. I feel seen. Oh, like the language? Well, that's exciting. I'm kind of glad I got the audiobook then. I just really like audiobooks too. I meant 2 books, same theme. Oh, yeah. That'll be the one I make Emma do a live with me or something. I cannot wait. I can't wait to read this, honestly. I'm going to start the audiobook tomorrow. I'm stoked about it. Okay. Mostly Spanglish. Yeah. Well, that's okay. I guess. I don't know. I don't know if that's okay. Uh, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, okay. That's really all I had. I'm excited. You guys seem to be excited about the Hacienda and about the other picks. I'll decide it. I'm giving myself like a time limit of making sure I come to a decision about some of that stuff within the first week of June. So that way, at least, at the very least, you'll know what the July book is before we're even halfway through the month of June. So that way, y'all can know what's happening, and then it'll give me more time to figure out some other stuff. But I appreciate the feedback a lot. And yeah, so I guess stay tuned. Happy reading for our June pick. Can't wait to talk about it with you guys. And I'll make sure creepy book clubs fall on Fridays from now on. I think that'll just be easier. And with my work schedule, it's going to be a necessity. So we'll be going live on a Friday next time. Well, thank you guys for those of you that came and participated. I appreciate it. And I will talk to you guys soon. Next video is a live stream, also letterbox wrap up. So I will see you guys very soon. All right. Have a good night, you guys. Bye.